It's safe to say that being a Timberwolves fan over the past decade or so has essentially been a living hell, but a lot of people thought that the 2021 season would finally be the year that all the pain would end in Minnesota, and a lot of people thought that they could make the play-in tournament or the playoffs. However, they disappoint yet again, finishing 13th in the Western Conference, but I do believe that in 2022, this will finally be the year in Minnesota, and I do believe that the Wolves will make the play-in tournament or the playoffs, and that's what we'll be talking about in today's video. Before the video does get started, please go ahead and hit that like button, as it really does help out the channel, and also make sure to subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy this type of content, so you don't miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I'm finally gonna do a face reveal. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get this video started. So let's get this out of the way. The Timberwolves have legit talent. They have a somewhat talented roster. They got talent on their roster. Unlike most bottom feeders last year, there were some pretty good players on this team. First off, we got to start out with Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns is easily the best player on the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it's not like he's some empty stats guy. Karl-Anthony Towns is a legitimately good player. He can produce at an all-NBA level and is one of the best centers in the NBA. Really good on offense, great as a scorer, can rebound well, a pretty decent playmaker, and one of the best shooting bigs, maybe the best shooting big in the entire league. The point is, this guy is really good. Granted, defense, he's not really amazing, but we all know how good Karl-Anthony Towns is. D'Angelo Russell, also a very good player as well. One of the better point guards in the league, and he can still produce at a borderline all-star level. Now, granted, I mean, he does have his issues. Like, for one, the guy, I mean, he can be a little bit, passive when it comes to attacking the rim. Plus, his defense, God, it's terrible. He is super bad on defense, but offensively, he's pretty good. He can score pretty well. He's a good playmaker, and he can shoot pretty well. And I mean, he can score at a somewhat efficient rate. And then there's Anthony Edwards, and he's one of the best young players in the league. And he was a top rookie of the year candidate last year in 2021. And some argue that he should have won the award. Now, personally, I think it was LaMelo Ball, but I know most Wolves fans watching this video are going to be inclined to say it was Anthony Edwards. We're not going to get into that debate, but point is, he was super good last season, and they also got some solid role players on this team too, like Malik Beasley. He's a really good spot-up shooter. Jaden McDaniels, he really exceeded expectations last year, and he had a good rookie year. Josh Okogie, he's a pretty good defensive wing. Plus, they got other guys on the team who I won't mention in this video, and they did acquire Patrick Beverley from the Memphis Grizzlies, actually, and he's a really good 3-and-D guard. Now, they were pretty talented heading into last year as well, and ironically, that talent was a big reason why people were disappointed with how their season played out. However, while 2021 was another disappointing year for the Timberwolves, it wasn't entirely in their control. The results, it just wasn't in their control completely. A large part of it was due to injuries, as Karl-Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, and Malik Beasley, they combined to miss 87 games total. Yeah, that's more than one full season. Now, including Malik Beasley, he's not as good as Cat and D'Lo, so I'll admit, I mean, I guess it's kind of biased on my part to, try and prove my point, but Cat and D'Lo, they missed 52 games last year combined, and that's most of an NBA season. And Malik Beasley, he's still a very vital piece to that team, and I do think that, the Timberwolves would, I mean, if he were to ever leave the team, without getting anything in return, they would, miss his impact. But the point is, man, they were really injury riddled last year, and in the 24 games in which Cat and D'Lo did play together, Minnesota had a record of 13-11, and that translates to about a 44-win year. Now, granted, the teams they beat were not that good outside of Miami and Utah, and 44 wins is not amazing by any means, but it's still pretty promising. Another reason to hold out hope for the Minnesota Timberwolves this year is that they'll have a full season under their new head coach in Chris Finch. When he took over as head coach last year, the team, they showed a clear improvement, as a squad. Before he was promoted to HC, Minnie had an absolutely abysmal 7-24 record, and that translates to a pitiful 19-63 record per 82 games. Now, when he took over, they were not quite as bad, going 16-25, and that translates to a 32-50 season. Again, it's really not that great, but it is an improvement. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of like trash versus garbage, but still, it was an improvement. And it was pretty clear that Minnesota was a better team under Chris Finch. Another big help to them is that the Western Conference isn't going to be quite as strong this year as in the past few, compared to how it's been in the past few years. The Denver Nuggets, they're dealing with injuries to Jamal Murray, and because of that, the chances are he's going to be missing at least over half the regular season, and there's a chance that he doesn't play in the regular season at all. And look, man, as a Nuggets fan, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Nikola Jokic, he can definitely carry this team to a lot of wins, but Jamal Murray being out is gonna hurt how many games the Nuggets win in the regular season. And the Los Angeles Clippers have also gotten off to a pretty bad start team-wise, because even though I am a big believer in Paul George, and even though I do believe the Los Angeles Clippers will make the play-in at the very least, there's no denying that Kawhi Leonard being out for the regular season is gonna hurt, how many games they win in the regular season, and there's a chance that both of them fall in the standings, and that's gonna help teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves who are looking to make the play-in tournament or the playoffs. Now this year, the team, they will have had a full offseason under Chris Finch to learn his system better and really just develop better team chemistry, and they improved their squad. I really like the Patrick Beverley addition a lot. I really do. I know Patrick Beverley's hated, and the guy, I mean, sometimes he is a little bit unplayable in the playoffs, but this guy, he is a really good defensive player, pretty good as a three-point shooter, and also, I do think he's an experienced veteran, and I think he can provide some leadership to that young locker room, and he can help guys become better defenders. D'Angelo Russell, not a good defensive player, like, at all. He really is not, but even, I think Patrick Beverley can help him improve on that side of the court, and even if he's not a good defender, I mean he can definitely improve with the help of Patrick Beverley. Plus, I do believe that some of the young players on the team should have built off some good years, and I do think they will grow as players, and I do think a full season under a head coach Chris Finch should lead to a pretty good a much better regular season overall. As I mean, keep in mind, this guy took over like 31 games into the year, so imagine how good, how much better they would have been had he been coaching the entire year, man. But yeah, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they've had a pretty good start so far, winning 2 games. Now granted, it's only 2 games, and they're also facing the New Orleans Pelicans, who aren't very good to begin with. Plus the Pelicans, they don't have Zion Williamson right now because of an injury, but still not a bad start at all. And I am a big believer in the Minnesota Timberwolves this year, and hopefully I'm right. But with that being said, that will be the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means a lot. Go ahead and check me out on Twitter. The link to it is in the description below. And also, go ahead and check out my podcast. The link to that is also in the description below. But hey, man, without further ado, I'm out, you guys.